Do you know the early warning signs of a stroke? This seemingly simple question carries with it a weighty significance. Strokes are a prevailing health concern worldwide and are among the leading causes of severe long-term disability. They can strike at any time, and their effects can be devastating. There's an urgency in understanding this issue, for it is not just a matter of personal health, but also a collective responsibility we all share. Strokes occur when blood flow to an area of the brain is cut off, causing brain cells to begin dying from lack of oxygen. This can result in lasting damage, disability, or even death. Yet for all their potential harm, strokes are often preventable, and early detection is a fundamental key in this prevention. This is where recognizing the early warning signs comes into play. These signs serve as the body's alarm system, a distress signal from the brain. They may appear a month before a stroke, providing a critical window of opportunity to seek medical attention and potentially avert a full-blown stroke. Today, we'll be exploring 9 of these warning signs. We'll delve into what they entail and how they manifest themselves. These indicators may seem broad or common, often leading to their dismissal. However, their potential gravity should not be underestimated. They could be the difference between life and death, between full recovery and long-term disability. So as we delve into this topic, remember, knowledge is a powerful tool. By being informed, you're better equipped to recognize these signs, not just in yourself, but also in the people around you. By knowing these signs, you could potentially save a life, maybe even your own. The first warning sign to take note of is sudden numbness or weakness. It's not just a simple tingling sensation we're talking about here. This is a sudden onset of numbness or weakness, often experienced on one side of the body. It could affect your face, arm, or leg, and it's like a switch has been flipped, leaving you feeling as though part of your body has fallen asleep. Now, why is this significant? This condition is often associated with a stroke. The reason for this is that a stroke occurs when blood flow to an area of your brain is cut off. When this happens, brain cells are deprived of oxygen and begin to die. As these cells die, the areas of the body controlled by these cells can no longer function as they should, which can result in numbness or weakness. If you or someone else experiences sudden numbness or weakness, seek medical attention immediately. Time is brain, and every second counts in such situations. The second warning sign is confusion or difficulty speaking. Imagine you're in the middle of a conversation and suddenly you can't quite grasp the right words. They're on the tip of your tongue, but they just won't come out. Or perhaps you're listening to someone and their words seem like a jumble of sounds. This isn't your typical forgetfulness or a momentary lapse in concentration. It's a sudden, unexplained difficulty with speech or understanding. Now, this can be quite alarming, and rightly so. Our ability to communicate and understand is fundamental to our everyday lives. When this ability is compromised without any apparent reason, it's a sign that something might be wrong, possibly a stroke. Stroke doesn't always come with the dramatic collapse we often see in movies. Sometimes it sneaks up on us with subtle signs like these. So don't dismiss them as mere brain fogs or senior moments. Always remember, sudden difficulty in speaking or understanding is not normal and should be taken seriously. Our third warning sign is trouble seeing in one or both eyes. This might sound surprising, but it's a serious indicator of a potential stroke. Imagine you're going about your day when suddenly your vision blurs. You may even see double, or worse, your sight may blacken completely. Quite alarming, isn't it? These vision problems can occur in one or both eyes, and they're not something you can shrug off as mere fatigue or a temporary issue. They're often one of the earliest signs of a stroke, a little-known fact that makes them all the more critical. This sudden vision loss or distortion happens when the blood flow to the part of the brain responsible for sight is interrupted. So, what should you do if you experience such a sudden change in your vision? The answer is straightforward. Don't ignore them. They're not just a minor inconvenience, but a possible call to action. If you experience sudden vision problems, it's time to call for help. Now let's talk about warning signs 4, 5, and 6. Dizziness, loss of balance, and coordination. These 3 signs are often interconnected and can indicate a potential stroke. If you've ever spun around in a circle quickly as a child, You've experienced what it's like to feel dizzy. When that sensation springs up out of nowhere, it can be a red flag. Similarly, a sudden loss of balance can feel like the world is tilting beneath your feet. You might stumble, feel unsteady, or have a hard time standing up straight. And then there's coordination. Imagine trying to pick up a pen and your hand just won't cooperate. That lack of coordination, especially when it comes out of the blue, can be a telltale sign of a stroke. These symptoms can be subtle, but they're important. They might not seem severe, but they're not something to be brushed off. If you or someone else experiences a sudden onset of dizziness, loss of balance, or lack of coordination, it's crucial to seek immediate medical attention. Remember, sudden dizziness, loss of balance, or lack of coordination warrants immediate medical attention. The seventh warning sign of a stroke is a severe headache with no known cause. This isn't just your run-of-the-mill headache we're talking about. It's a sudden and intense pain in your head that can strike out of nowhere. This type of headache is often described as the worst headache of one's life. It's not something that can be easily shrugged off or dismissed with a couple of painkillers. It's a pain so severe it can make you feel nauseous and might even be accompanied by vomiting. The headache could also be coupled with a sense of dizziness or altered consciousness. You might feel disoriented, confused, or have trouble understanding what's happening around you. The key here is the sudden onset. If you or anyone around you experiences this kind of severe sudden headache, it's a clear sign that something is not quite right. A sudden, severe headache is a strong warning sign of a stroke and should not be ignored. The eighth warning sign is trouble walking. If you've ever tripped over an unseen obstacle or momentarily lost your footing, you know how disconcerting it can be. But imagine if that stumbling or unsteady gait wasn't a momentary lapse but a persistent difficulty. This could indeed be a sign of a stroke. When a stroke occurs, it can disrupt the brain's ability to coordinate the body's movements. This can lead to a sudden unsteadiness or an inability to walk in a straight line. You might find that your legs feel heavy, or that you're unable to lift your feet properly. You could also experience a loss of balance or coordination, making it difficult to stand upright. Now, it's important to note that not all instances of trouble walking are indicative of a stroke. However, if this symptom is accompanied by other warning signs we've discussed, it's crucial to seek immediate medical attention. Never underestimate the seriousness of sudden difficulty walking. It can be a clear sign of a stroke. The ninth and final warning sign is unexplained fatigue. Now, fatigue is a common symptom of many conditions, but when it comes paired with other symptoms we've discussed, it can be a warning sign of an impending stroke. This isn't your normal end-of-the-day exhaustion. It's a sudden, overwhelming tiredness that seems to hit you out of nowhere. You may find that you're struggling to keep your eyes open, or that you're feeling unusually weak. This kind of fatigue can be particularly concerning if it's not related to any recent physical activity or lack of sleep. You see, when a stroke occurs, it disrupts the flow of blood and oxygen to the brain. As a result, your brain cells begin to die, which can lead to symptoms like fatigue. It's basically your body's way of sounding an alarm that something isn't right. If you or someone else is experiencing unexplained fatigue, it's important to seek medical attention. Now that we've discussed the 9 warning signs of a stroke, it's time to recap. We've traveled a long road together to understand the subtle yet significant signs that our bodies might give us, signaling a possible stroke. Let's take a brisk walk down memory lane, shall we? Firstly, we talked about sudden numbness or weakness, particularly on one side of the body. This can manifest in your face, arm, or leg. If you experience such an unusual sensation, it's imperative to sit up and take notice. Next, we delved into the second sign, confusion or difficulty speaking. A sudden inability to comprehend language or articulate thoughts can be a red flag. Always remember, clarity of mind is not a luxury, it's a necessity. The third sign we discussed was trouble seeing in one or both eyes. Your vision is your window to the world. If it gets blurred or dark, don't hesitate to reach out for medical help. We then moved on to a trio of warning signs: dizziness, loss of balance and coordination, a sudden unsteady feeling, a loss of equilibrium or difficulty walking straight are signs that mustn't be brushed under the rug. Further, we explored the seventh sign, a severe headache with no known cause. An unexpected, abrupt headache, especially one of the worst you've ever had, is a signal that something might be amiss. The eighth sign we discussed was trouble walking. If you find yourself stumbling or unable to walk without difficulty, it's a cause for concern. Finally, we touched upon the ninth sign, unexplained fatigue. A sudden, unaccountable exhaustion that doesn't seem to stem from your daily activities could be your body's cry for help. Each of these signs is a piece of the puzzle, and together they form a picture that could save a life, your own or someone else's. Recognizing them and seeking immediate medical attention is of utmost importance. Remember, recognizing these signs can be the difference between recovery and disability, or even death. Stay aware, stay safe. If you found this video informative, why not give us a like below, share and follow us for more content.